Sitting alone in a dark room, I am surrounded by my shadows and guilt. It has been a year, yet I can still smell his cologne, a constant reminder of the passion I sought outside of my relationship. The weight of my regrets bear down on me, but how can I explain how the temptation of forbidden desires led me down this miserable path? When I first met Spencer, it seemed like we would get along great. But as time passed, As time went on, Spencer's true personality began to reveal itself. He would often make jokes at my expense, mocking my quirks and interests in an attempt to win over his own friends. At first, I tried to brush it off and laugh along, but the teasing continued. Slowly but surely, I began to realize that I had started to change the way I acted around him. The light in my eyes began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of hopelessness. Despite this, it took me a long time to accept that Spencer was the root of my growing unease and discontent. One day, I arrived home from work earlier than usual and heard laughter coming from the bedroom. As I entered the room, I was met with the sight of Spencer naked on my bed with another woman. I ended our relationship immediately, though the heartbreak lingered for a few days. Eventually, I came to the realization that Spencer was a negative influence on my peace of mind. It wasn't long before Liam entered my life, and he taught me what true love really meant. Fortunately, Liam was already aware of my past experiences with Spencer. Thankfully, I didn't have to relive the painful memories of my past relationship by telling Liam about my ex. As a sports media reporter, we were both familiar with each other through our shared fraternity. One day, I unexpectedly ran into Spencer at a party where I was introduced as Liam's wife. It was the first time we had spoken since our breakup. Later on, everyone was coming to meet us, as we had gotten married a month ago without telling anyone. Spencer and Liam attended a party at the home of a mutual friend. During their conversation, Spencer mentioned that he had heard Liam had tied the knot with Caitlin. However, Spencer assumed that I was not Caitlin, because he believed I still had feelings for him. I immediately corrected him, stating that I was the one who ended our relationship, and I was now content with Liam. Soon after, Liam arrived, and Spencer made a surprising revelation. "Your wife is actually my ex. In short, you're with my ex now. Congratulations on your marriage," he said before leaving. Liam inquired if I wanted to leave the party due to Spencer's comment, but I declined. He asked if I still had feelings for Spencer, to which I reassured him that I was committed to him and didn't consider Spencer worthy of my attention. Throughout the night, I sensed Liam's frustration, or perhaps I was simply searching for a motive to confront Spencer. As my husband's well-being is a top priority, I refused to let Spencer's actions go unpunished. The following morning, after Liam left for his practice and I departed for work, I immediately headed to Spencer's residence. Upon his arrival at the door, I struck him with a forceful slap and firmly demanded that he stay away from both Liam and me. As he attempted to speak, I gave him a second slap and stepped away. "I see you finally found a reason to come see me," he remarked, still holding his hand over his cheek. For some reason, instead of pushing him away, I gave in and closed my eyes. It was at that moment that I began to question whether Spencer's assumption was correct. Did I still harbor feelings for him, or was there another explanation for why I couldn't resist him? I let myself be swept away for a moment as his lips met mine, but the sound of passing cars quickly brought me back to reality. Realizing my mistake, I pushed Spencer away and hastily left the scene. Once safely inside my car, I scolded myself and vowed to never be alone with him again. Weeks passed, and I gradually forgot about the incident with Spencer, treating it like a bad dream. However, I was abruptly reminded when I received a text from him a month and a half later. He expressed missing me and suggested we hang out, a clear indication of his intentions. Knowing exactly what he meant, I chose to ignore his messages. Despite my efforts to ignore him, Spencer persisted in contacting me. Eventually, I put an end to it by blocking his phone number. I accompanied Liam to a match to show my support for him, and as I wished him luck and was returning to my seat in the stands, someone grabbed me and pushed me into a corner. It was Spencer. He claimed that I couldn't resist him, which was why I had blocked him to some extent. Regrettably, Spencer was correct. Despite my verbal protests, I was unable to resist him when he drew near. We shared a passionate kiss, and this time it lasted longer. However, I finally mustered the strength to push him away, buttoned up my top, and fled the scene without another word. Feeling weighed down with guilt, I made the decision to come clean to Liam about my kiss with Spencer. I couldn't bear the thought of deceiving my husband any longer and was prepared to accept whatever consequences came my way. During the match, Spencer continued to taunt Liam, making it an unpleasant experience for him. To add to my discomfort, Spencer persisted in being annoying towards me, winking and blowing air kisses. It appeared as though Liam was having a bad day, or perhaps he was falling for Spencer's provocation. Following Liam's loss in the match, I was hesitant to tell him about my encounter with Spencer. I feared that his anger would be uncontrollable and could potentially cause chaos in the city. Witnessing Liam's rage was a new experience for me, and I decided to hold off on telling him. Within a few days, Liam returned to his normal self and had moved on from the loss. Unfortunately, Spencer persisted in taking advantage of my vulnerability towards him for several weeks. Eventually, Liam and Spencer crossed paths. At a party hosted by a mutual friend of Liam and Spencer, Liam was engrossed in conversation with his friends, and I didn't want to interrupt. I decided to head to the bar for a drink, but unbeknownst to me, Spencer followed me. He began teasing me, knowing I wouldn't say anything to Liam. That night, I let my guard down and succumbed to Spencer's advances. I did something that I had been fighting against, and it was a mistake. As I hurried towards my husband, who was waiting for me in the parking lot, I felt relieved to see him. Liam questioned my whereabouts, and I quickly replied that I had just been in the restroom. We linked arms and were about to leave the party when suddenly Spencer called out my name. I came to a halt and my heart skipped a beat as I saw him pointing to something levitating in his hand. He approached us and handed it over to me, explaining that I had left it in his room. As he turned to face my husband, a devilish smile crept across his face. In that moment, I had forgotten that my husband was a seasoned Mima fighter with a formidable physique and a rugged demeanor. He had previously demonstrated his skills in a parking lot when he discovered that I had slept with his greatest opponent in the ring. The atmosphere was tense, with a palpable sense of an impending confrontation. Liam glared at me, his nostrils flaring, and I pleaded with him to remain calm. I never intended for that to happen. It was a one-time mistake that I deeply regretted and knew it would never happen again. When I expressed this, Spencer raised his arms and suggested he should leave us alone. However, Liam stopped him in his tracks, grabbing his arm and accusing him of thinking he could get away with it. Spencer scowled back at Liam with a nasty smirk and retorted that I had chosen him because he was a genuine man, unlike Liam, who could never satisfy me. Liam was suddenly overtaken by wrath. He leaped forward, his right hand swiping toward Spencer's face in an attempt to punch him. However, Spencer managed to dodge, narrowly avoiding the blow. As Liam's pupils tightened, a fire ignited deep within him. Without hesitation, Liam dove into a brutal display of Mima combat skills. He landed several hits and kicks on Spencer, eventually throwing him to the ground. The two of them skillfully used the parking lot as their makeshift ring. In the chaos, I attempted to stop Liam, but he grabbed me by the hair and yelled, "I trusted you, I loved you, and this is how you repaid me." Before I could utter a word, Liam forcefully pinned me against the wall, causing a strain on my neck. Spencer attempted to stand up, but Liam swiftly struck his legs, causing him to lose balance and fall hard to the ground. Without hesitation, Liam pounced on top of Spencer and relentlessly hit him in the back with his knees. With Liam's weight and knees holding him down, Spencer was unable to move. Liam spoke through gritted teeth. "Do you really believe that you can come into my life and take what belongs to me?" Spencer tried to fight back, using his best fighting skills. But Liam's rage and heartache proved too much for him. Every attack Liam made was carefully planned, and his defense was executed with precision. The sound of leather hitting flesh echoed through the neighborhood. As I watched what was happening in front of me, I was overwhelmed with horror and sadness. Once again, I attempted to intercede, but Liam shoved me aside with such force that I fell to the ground. As Liam delivered the final blow, he spoke, "You both deserve each other." Spencer fell to the ground, defeated and humiliated. Liam, panting heavily, looked me directly in the eyes. His face displayed a complex mixture of rage, grief, and despair. As he walked towards his parked car in the lot, he turned his back on me and walked away. With tears streaming down my cheeks, I somehow found the strength to get up and follow him. As I grabbed his arm to get his attention, my head was struck by another vehicle due to his forceful push. He warned me to never come near him again before violently shutting the car door in my face, preventing me from reaching Liam. As soon as the car started revving its engine and Liam left me there on the ground, my entire world fell apart. I was left broken and alone in the parking lot, unsure of how much time had passed. When I finally opened my eyes, I heard Spencer shouting my name. He was sitting next to me in the hospital with a cast on his injured leg and a dislocated shoulder. Seated in a wheelchair, he was clutching my hand tightly. As soon as I regained my senses, I pushed Spencer's hand away and cursed him in the loudest voice possible. He shamelessly suggested that we file a complaint against Liam for hitting both of us. I refused, telling Spencer that I would never do anything to hurt Liam further, as I had already caused him enough pain. I also reminded Spencer that he was not innocent in this scenario and was actually responsible for everything that had happened. According to Spencer, I heard Liam's responsibility extended beyond my physical injuries. I glanced at my reflection, observing the bruises on my face and neck. Though I remained silent, Spencer continued, informing me of his intention to file a complaint, with or without my cooperation. He suggested that my presence would add weight to his case as he made his way to the door. However, before he could leave, I halted him. "I did my best to convince him," I said, emphasizing the potential negative publicity that would come with filing a complaint against Liam. I also pointed out that Liam's career could be jeopardized, which wouldn't be in Spencer's best interest either. "It would be wise to refrain from taking action," I advised. Spencer mulled it over before responding, "I'll consider it." And with that, he departed. My head was resting on the headboard when Liam pushed me, causing my head to hit the car with tremendous force. The physical pain, however, paled in comparison to the agony I felt for lying to my husband, ruining my marriage, my life, and any chance of ever being with the love of my life again. It was my fault. After I was discharged from the hospital, I tried to contact Liam several times, but he turned out to be experienced in ignoring my calls and messages. I managed to convince Spencer to abandon his intention to file a formal complaint against Liam, which was a relief. After what felt like an eternity, I was granted the chance to visit Liam at his home to retrieve some belongings I had left behind. I had been eagerly anticipating our reunion since our relationship ended, but little did I know that this visit would forever alter my perspective. The experience was unexpected and transformative. As I approached Liam's house, a wave of emotions hit me. Part of me still held on to the hope that we could rekindle our connection, but deep down I knew it was best for us to move on. Upon seeing him, I couldn't help but notice a change in his demeanor. His once warm and welcoming eyes now appeared guarded and unwelcoming. It was evident that his attention was elsewhere. Summoning my courage, I initiated a conversation with Liam and asked how he had been since our last encounter. His response shattered any preconceived notions I had held about him. It became clear that once a cheater, always a cheater. Leaving Liam's house that day was a heavy-hearted decision. I wasn't prepared to face the reality that the encounter had revealed, and it wasn't until I had left the city that it fully hit me. I embarked on a journey to start a new life, hoping to leave behind the trauma and emotional pain associated with Liam and our past relationship. Despite my best efforts, echoes from my past continued to resonate. I learned that Liam had emerged victorious in a competition, which wasn't surprising given his talents. However, news of his retirement caught me off guard and was unexpected. Liam's retirement was a surprise to me, as I had always known him to be a determined and enthusiastic individual. Perhaps he wanted to start fresh and leave behind a world that had witnessed both his triumphs and setbacks. Almost a year later, I received news that Liam was getting married, which was unexpected. Meanwhile, Spencer continued to live his life, enjoying parties and doing as he pleased. Despite everyone else moving on, Spencer continued to be frequently seen in a drunken state, unable to let go of the past. Perhaps it was my fate to be stuck in the past, weighed down by unresolved issues and regrets. Amidst these conflicting emotions, I couldn't help but reflect on the choices I had made. Starting fresh by leaving the city seemed like the right decision for me at the time. As I reflect on my decision to leave the city, I can't help but wonder if I've doomed myself to a life of regret. Perhaps my anxiety and pain had led me astray, causing me to miss out on opportunities for growth and progress. Learning about Liam's success and retirement served as a reminder that life moves on, even when we attempt to leave the past behind. It demonstrated how unpredictable life can be and how we all take different paths. While Liam's accomplishments and decisions may have impacted me, they did not dictate the trajectory of my life.